Hi, I'm Jordan Fairchild with Spruce Creative Studio, and I am here in my home in Durham, North Carolina to share with you a newly remodeled fireplace that's behind me that I did with my husband.
And I'm Andrew Fairchild, Jordan's partner and resident handyman. I provide the labor to execute Jordan's ideas.
In this series of videos, we'll show you step by step how you too can transform an outdated fireplace into a clean, modern design, all for under $1,000.
So we're done with the mantle, and next step includes building the surround. We're going to build the surround out of concrete board. Anytime two concrete boards come together at a joint, we're going to use alkali resistant mesh tape as well as thin set mortar on top of that. The mantle I put on top, it's actually not attached yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attach a concrete board on the top of this steel frame and screw that into the steel frame. Then I'm going to drill from underneath, first with pilot holes and with concrete board screws to attach the mantle to the surround. And the reason why I'm drilling from underneath is I don't want any screws to appear on the surface. And then this will all be covered up with concrete board.
We already covered scoring and breaking concrete boards in the first video. Here's a link to that if you want to see it again. Covering this frame requires long, thin cuts of concrete board. If you try breaking over your knee, it'll break in half. Here's another technique for breaking the board in long, thin cuts. Screw the concrete board into the studs using concrete board screws. Here I'm drilling pilot holes underneath the mantle. Then I'm going to drill concrete board screws to secure the mantle.
A few more screws to go for the support, but next thing I'm going to do is everywhere that two cement boards are meeting one another, I'm going to place your alkali resistant mesh tape and then cover that tape with some thin set mortar.
When adding mortar, add a thin layer ensuring the crack is filled. Use a 3-inch putty knife to spread the mortar. For details on mortar and mixing, here's a link to it in the first video. As you can see, with a combination of mortar and even the best of straight lines when cutting your concrete board, the edges end up being irregular. The best way to ensure a uniform straight edge is to use corner bead, which is a flexible piece of long, thin vinyl edging that creates a nice, clean line along edges.
So for my edges, I'm using a vinyl corner bead. Corner bead also comes in metal. Oftentimes the metal though will bend on transport, and so it defeats the purpose of having a nice clean edge. And I also like vinyl corner bead because you can easily cut it just with scissors.
Spray 3M corner bead adhesive along the length of the corner bead. You want to note that this dries real quickly, so work fast. I'd also spray the surface that you're planning on applying the corner bead to. Once the corner bead is on, press it firmly in place.
So I've added all the corner beads, and next step involves using the joint compound. As you can see, I also ended up putting some plastic wrap over the mantle as well as the firebox just to prevent any from getting in there. Also help later with painting and sanding. So anywhere where the concrete board met the wall or underside, underneath the mantle, or along the firebox, I put painter's tape because I want a clean line on that joint compound.
Here we're using USG premixed all-purpose joint compound. Use your putty knife to spread on a thin layer. You'll probably end up adding 3 layers to achieve the proper look and thickness. It takes about 24 hours for each layer to dry.
So the first coat is dried. This is some of the cracking that occurs after it's fully dry after about 24 hours. And now I'm going to apply a second coat of joint compound.
You made a mistake the first time and tried power sanding. Don't do this. It'll create an incredible mess that'll take you hours and hours to clean. Hand sanding will be less messy and you'll have more control. After you're done with hand sanding and you're about to paint, use a tack cloth to remove dust particles on the fireplace and lay down plastic wrap in the surrounding area. We used a white matte Rust-Oleum paint and primer spray paint for a crisp white look. So there you have it. In the next video, we'll tackle laying the tile, ensuring it's level, then adding grout, sealer, and trim work.
Here's a list of the products we used in this video. Click on the links below for more videos in this series. Thanks so much for watching. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and my website for more home renovation projects and interior design inspiration.